Hello, everybody. Welcome to the final Wheel of Shakespeare Challenge for 2021. We'll be dark for the next 2 weeks because we do it every Saturday, and this coming Saturday is Christmas Day, and the following Saturday is New Year's Day. People have other things to do on holidays, and maybe that's for the best. It gives us some time to prepare for season 2 for 2022. And I was asking before we started our regular players for suggestions, and the viewers, feel free to say in the comments if you've been watching and you have ideas, anything, changes in the game that you like to see, or, something we want to kick off for the first time for our 2022 season. Let us know in the comments. So anyway, looking forward to today's game based on the randomly determined order that we spun for in advance. We will start with Sheila. She will perform our first monologue, and then Elizabeth. Elizabeth is on deck after Sheila. And first, Sheila, we'll bring the wheel up for you. Hit the wrong button there. Here we go. Here's the wheel, spinning the wheel for Sheila. Sheila is going to perform. Hotspur from My Liege, I Did Deny No Prisoners. Henry Percy, aka or Hotspur, whatever you prefer to call him. So Henry IV, Part 1, Act 1, Scene 3.
Give me a little context. I know it's very early, but
this is, it's basically the meeting with the king where that initiates his rebellion. Himself and his uncles, they helped him to the crown in the Richard II play, and now he's saying he's loyal to Mortimer, and that's why he won't turn him over as prisoner of war. And sorry, My Liege, I Did Deny No, and Rance. This is basically the beginning of Hotspur's rebellion against King Henry IV.
Got it. All right,
okay.
Very good.
You found it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so whenever you're ready, go ahead.
My liege, I deny no prisoners, but I remember when the fight was done, when I was dry with rage and extreme toil, breathless and faint, leaning upon my sword, came there a certain lord, neat and trimly dressed, fresh as a bridegroom, and his chin new reaped showed like a stubble land at harvest home. He was perfumed like a milliner, and twixt his finger and his thumb he held a pouncet box, which ever and anon he gave his nose and tooked away again. Who, therewith angry, when next came there, took it in snuff. And still he smiled and talked as the soldiers bore dead bodies by. He called them untaught knaves, unmannerly, to bring a slovenly, unhandsome course between the wind and his nobility. With many holiday and lady terms he questioned me. Amongst the rest demanded my prisoners in your majesty's behalf. I then, all smarting, with my wounds being cold, to be so pestered with a popinjay, out of my grief and my impatience, answered neglectingly, I know not what. He should or he should not, for he made me mad to see him shine so brisk and smell so sweet and talk so like a waiting gentlewoman of guns and drums and wounds, God save the mark, and telling me the sovereignest thing on earth was permachetti for an inward bruise, and that it was a great pity. So it was. This villainous saltpeter should be digged out of the bowels of the harmless earth, which so many a good tall fellow had destroyed so cowardly. But for these vile guns, he would himself have been a soldier. This bald, unjointed chat of his, my lord, I answered indirectly as I said, and I beseech you, let not his report come current for an accusation betwixt my love and your high majesty.
Okay. Very nice. So Elizabeth is up next. Danielle is on deck. We have 3 more people. Bill, Maggie, and John joined us while you were performing, so that's good. I saw John was trying to join us before and had trouble getting in, so we're glad that he finally made it in. So Elizabeth's turn. She will perform. Friar Laurence, Holy St. Francis, an all-rhyming couplets monologue.
Oh, this one. Okay.
After Romeo has just told him he's in love with Juliet.
Okay, let me just get my screen. Okay. You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Holy St. Francis, what a change is here! Is Rosaline, whom thou didst love so dear, so soon forsaken? Young men's love then lies, not truly in their hearts, but in their eyes. Jesu Maria, what a deal of brine hath washed thy sallow cheeks for Rosaline! How much salt water thrown away in waste to season love that of it doth not taste! The sun not yet thy sighs from heaven clears, thy old groans ring yet in my ancient ears. Lo, here upon thy cheek the stain doth sit of an old tear that is not washed off yet. If e'er thou wast thyself, and these woes thine, thou and these woes were all for Rosaline. And art thou changed? Pronounce this sentence then. Women may fall when there's no strength in men.
Okay, great. So Danielle is up next, and then Maggie. Danielle, spinning for you. Danielle is going to perform. Once more into the breach.
Oh my goodness.
Henry V, Act 3, Scene 3.
All right. 3. Just pulling that up. How's the microphone level?
You sound fine, yeah.
Brilliant, thank you.
Okay, you got it?
I have.
All right.
Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, no, I haven't. Now I have. Thank you. Have I? Sorry, I'm just looking at the speech that I presume is that. It's that it doesn't start with once more then.
I may have given you, I think it's Act 3, Scene 1, right after the chorus. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I had 3-3 in my head. I have it now. Sorry.
Yeah, I think it's my fault. I think it's on the wheel.
Once more unto the breach, dear friends, once more, or close up the wall with our English dead. In peace there is nothing so becomes a man as modest stillness and humility. But when the blast of war blows in our ears, then imitate the action of the tiger. Stiffen the sinews, summon up the blood, disguise fair nature with hard-favoured rage. Then lend the eye a terrible aspect. Let pry through the portage of the head like the brass cannon. Let the brow o'erwhelm it as fearfully as doth a galled rock o'erhang and jutty his confounded base, swilled with the wild and wasteful ocean. Now set the teeth and stretch the nostril wide, hold hard the breath and bend up every spirit to his full height. On, you noblest English, whose blood is fet with from fathers of war proof. Fathers that, like so many Alexanders, have in these parts from morn till even fought, and sheathed their swords for lack of argument. Dishonour not your mothers. Now attest that those whom you called fathers did beget you. Be copy now to men of grosser blood, and teach them how to war. And you, good yeoman, whose limbs were made in England, show us here the mettle of your pasture. Let us swear that you are worth your breeding, which I doubt not. For there is none of you so mean and base that hath not noble lustre in your eyes. I see you stand like greyhounds in the slip, straining upon the start. The game's afoot. Follow your spirit, and upon this charge cry God for Harry England and St. George.
Love that one.
Apologies. Had a few technical difficulties during that. It was jumping all over the place.
Oh, well, once you found it, it was great. Okay, Maggie is up next, and then I am on deck after Maggie. Oh, there she is.
Please don't give me anything iconic after that. I'll just, no, I'm kidding. I'll take whatever I get.
Okay.
Wow.
Lay down.
Okay,
Start
1, 2. Whoops, where's my MIT Shakespeare? Okay, hang on just 1 second, please. I thought my MIT Shakespeare was open, and it wasn't. So it's 1, 2. Richard III?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't see it at the same time I'm looking at this. Okay, thank you. So here she's talking to the people carrying her.
She's carrying her corpse.
Set down your honorable load, if honor may be shrouded in a hearse, whilst I a while obsequiously lament the untimely fall of virtuous Lancaster. Poor, key-cold figure of a holy king, pale ashes of the house of Lancaster, thou bloodless remnant of that royal blood. Be it lawful that I invocate thy ghost to hear the lamentations of poor Anne, wife to thy Edward, to thy slaughtered son, stabbed by the self-same hand that made these wounds. Lo, in these windows that let forth thy life, I pour the helpless balm of my poor eyes. Cursed be the hand that made these fatal holes. Cursed be the heart that had the heart to do it. Cursed the blood that let this blood from hence. More direful hap betide that hated wretch that makes us wretched by the death of thee, that I can wish to adders, spiders, toads, or any creeping venomed thing that lives. If ever he have child, abortive be it, prodigious and untimely brought to light, whose ugly and unnatural aspect may fright the hopeful mother at the view, and that be heir to his unhappiness. If ever he have wife, let her he made a miserable by the death of him, as I am made by my poor lord and thee. Come now towards Chertsey with your holy load, take from Paul's to be interred there, and still, as you are weary of the weight, rest you, whilst I lament King Henry's course.
Okay, great. So it's now my turn, and then on deck, John. John is on deck. Will go after me. First, I'll spin for myself, and I will perform. Claudius, so my offense is wrong. My offense is rank. It smells to heaven. It hath the primal eldest curse upon't. A brother's murder. Pray can I not, though inclinations be as sharp as will. My strong guilt defeats my strong intent. Like a man to double business bound, I stand in pause where I shall first begin and both neglect. What if this cursed hand were thicker than itself with brother's blood? Is there not rain enough in the sweet heavens to wash it white as snow? Whereto serves mercy but to comfort the visage of offense? What's in prayer but this twofold force to be forestalled ere we come to fall, our pardon being down? Then I'll look up. My fault is past, but oh, what form of prayer can serve my turn? Forgive me my foul murder? That cannot be, since I am still possessed of these effects, for which I did the murder. My crown, mine own ambition, and my queen, may one be pardoned and retain the offense? In the corrupted currents of this world, offence's gilded hand may shove by justice, and oft 'tis seen the wicked prize itself buys out the law. It is not so above. There is no shuffling. There the action lies in his true nature. And we ourselves compelled, even to the teeth and forehead of our faults, to give in evidence. What then? What rests? Try what repentance can. What can it not? What can it when one cannot repent? O wretched state! O bosom black as death! O limed soul that struggling to be free art more engaged! Help! Angels, make us say! Thou stubborn knees and heart with strings of steel, these soft as sinews of the newborn babe, all may be as well. My words fly up, my thoughts remain below. Words without thoughts never to heaven go. Okay. Don't think I've done that one before. It was a challenge. John, you are up next. And you will do... It's John's turn, and Alex. Just so Alex, you're on deck after John. And John is going to do... Come poor babe, Antigonus, leaving the baby out before he exits pursued by a bear.
Oh. Okay. Winter's Tale.
Winter's Tale, Act 3, Scene 3. Ordered to leave Perdita to die and leaving her.
What are the first words, please? What are the first words?
Jeez, I just closed it.
I'm sorry, I should have written that down. Come poor babe. I got it. It's right here. Can I get a little context here?
The context, he's the servant to the king, King Leontes, who, the basis of this play is that, insane jealousy. He thinks his best friend, the king of Bohemia, is sleeping with his wife, and when she bears his child, Perdita, he's convinced that it's not his, and he orders, you, the servant of the king, have been ordered to basically kill the baby, and instead you're leaving it here, hoping it'll be found, which of course it does. The crazy ending where he's reunited with the daughter. This is so you're leaving it, and actually, ironically, in Bohemia, which is the kingdom ruled by Leontes' best friend, that he was convinced is the real father of this baby. So.
Okay, well, all right. Thank you.
Okay, so whenever you're ready, go ahead.
Come, poor babe. I have heard, but not believed. The spirits of the dead may walk again. If such thing be, thy mother appeared to me last night, for ne'er was dream so like a waking. To me comes a creature, sometimes her head on one side, some another. I never saw a vessel of like sorrow, so filled and so becoming. In pure white robes, like very sanctity, she did approach my cabin where I lay, thrice bowed before me, and gasping to begin some speech, her eyes became two spouts. The fury spent, anon did this break from her. Good Antigonus, since fate against thy better disposition hath made thy person for the thrower out of my poor babe, according to thine oath. Places remote enough are in Bohemia. There weep and leave it crying, and for the babe is counted lost forever. Perdita, I pray thee, call. For this ungentle business put on thee by my lord, thou ne'er shalt see thy wife Paulina more. And so with shriek she melted into air. Affrighted much, I did in time collect myself and thought this was so and no slumber. Dreams are toys, Yet for this once, yea, superstitiously, I will be squared by this. I do believe had suffered death, and that Apollo would, this being indeed the issue of King Polynexes, it should be here laid, either for life or death, upon the earth or its right father. Blossom, speed thee well. There lie, and there thy character, there these, which may, if fortune please, both breed thee pretty, and still rest thine. The storm begins. Poor wretch, that for thy mother's fault art thus exposed to loss in what may follow. Weep I cannot, but my heart bleeds, and most accursed am I to be by oath enjoined to this. Farewell. The day frowns more and more. Thou'rt like to have a lullaby too rough. I never saw the heavens so dim by day. A savage clamor. Well, may I get aboard? This is the chase. I am gone forever. Yike.
Okay, very nice. So we have Alex, then Bill, and then we will start our scenes. There you are. Alex.
Hello.
Alex is going to perform. Oops. I didn't put.
I've already done this. Would you mind spinning again?
Oh, you've already, okay. All right. So I'll keep it on the wheel for somebody else that hasn't done it before. Okay, spinning again for Alex. He got one that he's done before. Oh, the Bishop of This is great. We did this whole scene. We did this scene last week with the deposition. This is the bit that we cut so that we could have the dialogue between characters. You know, the part where the Bishop of Carlisle speaks up, "Mary, God forbid," and says he won't stand for the deposing of the king and is arrested for it, and correctly prophesies all the craziness that's going to take place because of it. Of course, Elon Richard II.
Yeah, I've got this. Mary, God forbid.
Hold on. Wait, okay.
All right. Mary, God forbid. Worst in this royal presence may I speak, yet best beseeming me to speak the truth. Would God that any in this noble presence were enough noble to be upright judge of noble Richard, then true noblesse would learn him forbearance from so full a wrong. What subject can give sentence on his king? And who sits here that is not Richard's subject? Thieves are not judged, but they are by to hear, although apparent guilt be seen in them. And shall we figure of God's majesty, his captain, steward, deputy elect, anointed, crowned, planted many years, be judged by subject and inferior breath, and he himself not present? Or forfended God, that in a Christian's climate souls refined should show so heinous, black, obscene a deed? I speak to subjects, and the subject speaks, stirred up by God, thus boldly for his king. My lord of Hereford here, whom you call king, is a full traitor to proud Hereford's king, and if you crown him, let me prophesy, the blood of English shall manure the ground, and future ages groan for this foul act. Peace shall go sleep with Turks and infidels, and in this seat of peace tumultuous wars shall kin with kin and kind with kind confound. Disorder, horror, fear, and mutiny shall here inhabit, and this land be called the field of Golgotha and dead men's skulls. Oh, if you rise this house against this house, it will be woefulest division proof that ever fell upon this cursed earth. Prevent it, resist it, let it not be so, lest child's children cry against you all. And scene.
Hey. And of course, you have to see the next plays in the chronological series to see just how, and know the history of the Wars of the Roses to know just how accurate that prophecy was proved to be. Okay, we have Bill. Eleanor just joined us. She'll go after, but I said Bill was going next. So we'll Bill, then Eleanor, then we'll start our scenes. Didn't add the wheel to the stream. There's the wheel spinning for Bill. He who the sword. Okay, the Duke Vincent in Measure for Measure. Act 3, Scene 2, the very end.
The very end.
Reflecting on Angelo's treachery.
Okay.
Okay.
He who the sword of heaven will bear should be as holy as severe, pattern in himself to know, grace to stand, and virtue go. More no less to others paying than by self-offences weighing. Shame to him whose cruel striking kills for faults of his own liking. Twice trouble shame on Angelo to weed my vice and let his grow. Oh, what may man within him hide, though angel on the outward side? How many likenesses made in crimes, making practice on the times to draw with idle spiders' strings most ponderous and substantial things? Craft against vice I must apply with Angelo tonight, shall lie his old betrothed but despised. So disguise shall by the disguised pay with falsehood, false exacting, and perform an old contracting. See.
Okay, nice. Lastly, we missed Eleanor, but we'll go ahead and make sure we'll have her go out of order because she just joined us, and then we'll start our scene. Okay, so Eleanor is going to do. Queen Margaret, the paper crown time. Henry VI, Part 3, Act 1, Scene 4.
I will look it up. Henry VI, Part 3, check. Act what?
Act 1, Scene 4.
Another part of this field. And
into the scene. It begins with brave warriors, Clifford and Northumberland. Up on this molehill here.
Okay, I have found it.
Okay, so whenever you're ready, go
ahead. Let me adjust the tilt of my screen so that people can see me over the banner. Hopefully. Brave warriors, Clifford and Northumberland. Come, make him stand upon this molehill here, that routed mountains with outstretched arms, yet parted with but the shadow with its hand. What? Was it you that would be England's king? Was't you that revelled in our parliament and made a preachment of your high descent? Where are your mess of sons to back you now? The wanton Edward and the lusty George. And where's that valiant crook-back prodigy, Dicky, your boy, that with his grumbling voice was wont to cheer his dad in mutinies? Or with the rest, where is your darling Rutland? Look, York, I stained this napkin with my blood. That valiant Clifford with his rapier's point made issue from the bosom of the boy, and if thine eyes can water for his death, I give thee this to dry thy cheeks withal. Alas, poor York! But that I hate thee deadly, I should lament thy miserable state. I prithee, grieve to make me merry, York. What? Hath thy fiery heart so parched thine entrails that not a tear can fall for Rutland's death? Why art thou patient, man? Thou shouldst be mad, and I, to make thee mad, do mock thee thus. Stamp, rave, and fret, that I may sing and dance. Thou wouldst be feet, I see, to make me sport. York cannot speak unless he wear a crown. A crown for York, and lords bow low to him. Hold you his hands while I do set it on. I'm married now, sir. Now looks he like a king. Aye, this is he that took King Henry's chair, and this is he was his adopted heir. But how is it that great Plantagenet is crowned so soon, and broke his solemn oath? As I bethink me, you should not be king till our King Henry had shook hands with death. And will you pale your head in Henry's glory and rob his temples of the diadem now in his life against your holy oath? Ooh, 'tis a fault too unpardonable. Off with the crown, and with the crown his head, and whilst we breathe, take time to do him dead.
Okay, great. So we will now proceed to our scenes. We've got 9 people with us today, so we'll do a longer one. The last time we had a larger group, we were deciding between 2. We ended up going with a Henry IV Part 2 one. We'll do the other one because it did get votes, even though we chose the Henry one. We'll start with the intro to Much Ado About Nothing, the messenger coming to Leonato, and then they talk about the coming of Don Pedro and Beatrice and Hero are there. So it'll be messenger, Leonato, Beatrice, and Hero from the opening of Much Ado About Nothing, plus a couple more scenes that we will now randomly let the wheel decide for the remaining 5 players. Okay, so we have that scene plus Merchant of Venice. That's Act 3, Scene 2. Portia and Bassanio, I believe that's I believe that's the scene where he chooses the correct case, finds the picture, and they're getting married. Portia and Bassanio. 3 more. I'm going to spin again. This is the same scene we're already doing at a later point. This is a good one to do, but after Leonato exits. But let's do it another time when we haven't just done the. I want to see so we can get some variety. As You Like It. Orlando and Rosalind, Act 3, Scene 2. So that's 8 rolls, and then again the 9th. There's 9 of us, so then we'll have one. The last option will be perform an additional monologue. So again, before we go in reverse order from the order we went in choosing, the roles available are Much Ado About Nothing, Messenger, Leonato, Beatrice, Hero, then Portia or Bassanio in Merchant of Venice, Act 3, Scene 2, then Orlando or Rosalind in As You Like It, Act 3, Scene 2, and then the 9th role is, and you always have the option, you can choose to spin again and do another monologue. So, going in reverse order, Bill gets the first choice. Bill, what would you like to do?
How about Leonato?
Leonato. Alex.
I'll take Orlando.
Orlando. John. John, what would you like?
Can you name real quickly the ones in Much Ado? There's a couple more.
Leonato, which Bill just took, The Messenger, and then Beatrice and Hero.
Oh. Doggone it. Well, I'll tell you what, let me go with Rosalind, I guess. I don't know very well.
Okay. And then I get the next choice. I'll take The Messenger. Take The Messenger, and then Eleanor. Eleanor, what would you like?
What is there again?
There's Beatrice and Hero and Much Ado About Nothing. There's Portia and Bassanio, and then there's the option of doing a second monologue.
I'll do Beatrice.
Okay. Maggie. Maggie, what would you like?
Portia.
Portia.
Merchant of Venice, 3-2.
What's the act and scene for Beatrice?
It's the very opening of the play.
Okay.
Much Ado About Nothing. Danielle.
Bassanio, please.
Danielle will be Bassanio. Elizabeth. Elizabeth, what would you like?
I'm going to do the a monologue.
Okay. We'll do a second monologue. And that leaves Sheila to do Hero. Sheila will do Hero. Elizabeth, it's done. So it's the It's at the very beginning of the play. So that should be easy to count. Well, basically up to the point where Don Pedro and his party enter, which is they're being announced here.
Wait, I'm having to. The beginning of the play of Much Ado About Nothing.
Yeah, I start with I learned from this letter. Yeah. Okay. So all four of us have found it. We know where to. Okay, so Bill, go ahead and start us off.
I learn in this letter that Don Peter of Aragon comes this night to Messina.
He is very nearby thus. He was not 3 leagues off when I left him.
How many gentlemen have you lost in this action?
Oh, but few of any sort, and none of name.
A victory is twice itself when the achiever brings home full numbers. I find here that Don Peter hath bestowed much honor on a young Florentine named Claudio.
Oh, much deserved on his part, and equally remembered by Don Pedro. He hath borne himself beyond the promise of his age, doing in the figure of a lamb the feats of a lion. He hath indeed bettered expectation than you must expect of me to tell you how.
He has an uncle here in Messina who will be very much glad of it.
I have already delivered him letters, and there appears much joy in it. Even so, much that joy could not show itself modest enough without a badge of bitterness.
Did he break into tears?
In great measure.
A kind overflow of kindness. There are no faces truer than those that are so washed. How much better is it to weep at joy than to joy at weeping?
I pray you, is Signor Montanto returned from the wars or no?
I know none of that name, lady. There was none such in the army of any sort.
What is he that you ask for, niece?
My cousin means Signor Benedict of Padua.
Oh, he's returned, and as pleasant as ever he was.
He set up his mills here in Messina and challenged Cupid at the flight. And my uncle's fool, reading the challenge, subscribed for Cupid and challenged him at the bird bolt. I pray you, how many hath he killed and eaten in these wars? But how many hath he killed? For indeed, I promised to eat all of his killing.
Faith, niece, you tax Signor Benedict too much. But he'll be meet with you, I doubt it not.
He hath done good service, lady, in these wars.
He fed musty victual, and he hath hoped to eat it. He's a very valiant trencherman. He hath an excellent stomach.
And a good soldier, too, lady.
And a good soldier to a lady, but what is he to a lord?
A lord to a lord, a man to a man, stuffed with all honorable virtues.
It is so indeed. He's no less than a stuffed man. But for the stuffing, well, we are all mortal.
You must not, sir, mistake my niece. There's a kind of merry war betwixt Signor Benedict and her. They never meet, but there's a skirmish of wit between them.
Alas, he gets nothing by that. In our last conflict, 4 of his 5 wits went halting off, and now is the whole man governed with 1. So that if he have wit enough to keep himself warm, let him bear it for a difference between himself and his horse, for it is all the wealth that he hath left to be known a reasonable creature. Who is his companion now? He hath every month a new sworn brother.
Is possible?
Very easily possible. He wears his faith, but it's the fashion of his hat. It ever changes with the next block.
I see, lady, the gentleman is not in your books.
No, anywhere I would burn my study. But I pray you, who is his companion? Is there no young squarer now that will make a voyage with him to the devil?
He is most in the company of the right noble Claudio.
Oh, Lord. He will hang upon him like a disease. He is sooner caught than the pestilence, and the taker runs presently mad. God help the noble Claudio if he have caught the Benedict. It will cost him £1,000 ere he be cured.
I will hold friends with you, lady.
Do, good friend.
You will never run mad, niece.
No, not till a hot January.
Don Pedro is approached. Okay, scene. Yeah, that was fun. So next, we have Maggie and Danielle doing Portia and Bassanio.
Oh, may I make a suggestion before I go?
Yeah.
Since that character only had one line, so when you have a situation like that, you might want to do a two. Just a thought. Just keep it in mind.
Yeah, that's a. I'm sorry if you got stuck. I'm sorry you got stuck with that. I didn't realize that when I added it to the.
Mhm.
I obviously had that was a mistake. As always, we do something. We retire the scene for a while. If and when I take it out of retirement, I'll definitely, maybe adjust it that way. So sorry. And if since you only got one line, if you would like to perform an additional monologue after we do the what's left.
Either that or Elizabeth and I could do a two-person scene, whichever way you want to go.
Yeah, you know what? Let me start the scene with Maggie and Danielle. You and Elizabeth communicate that if you want to both do another monologue or if you want to.
She said yes. She said yes.
Okay, so let's do the scene that we've been waiting for, and then we'll and let's do the two additional scenes, and then we'll spin a two-person scene for you and Elizabeth, and maybe and then we'll maybe instead of the wheel, maybe flip a coin for who does which of the two roles if we have to. The old way we did it. Okay. So anyway, that leaves let's see, Maggie and Danielle to be Portia and Bassanio.
There's just a question. There's one point where there's a song, it says, while Bassanio comments on the caskets. Do we want to just skip that?
Yeah, you can skip that. The way I've seen that staged before, that's all like servants come on and sing while you can just kind of skip. I unless I'm thinking.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Yeah, the song is a bit of a clue, but I guess that doesn't matter, or what?
Unless you want to sing it, Bassanio. But I don't think either one of them sing it.
I just wondered if you wanted to read it. That's all.
So you're ready to go?
Yes.
Oh, hold on. I got the banner.
That's okay. I'm not looking. I'm looking at my tab, so I can't see what's happening in the room. But give me a hint when it's time.
Okay. Go.
Oh, sorry. I wanted to look at Danielle for a second, so I went away. Okay, let me go back to it. All right. I pray you, tarry. Pause a day or two before you hazard. For in choosing wrong, I lose your company. Therefore, forbear a while. There's something tells me, but it is not love. I would not lose you. And you know yourself, hate counsels not in such a quality. But lest you should not understand me well, and yet a maiden hath no tongue but thought, I would detain you here some month or two before you venture for me. I could teach you how to choose right. Oh, but then I am forsworn. So will I never be. So may you miss me. But if you do, you'll make me wish a sin that I had been forsworn. Beshrew your eyes that have o'erlooked me and divided me. One half of me is yours, the other half yours. Mine own, I would say, but if mine, then yours, and so all is yours. Oh, these naughty times put bars between the owners and their rights, and so, though yours, not yours, prove it so. Let fortune go to hell for it, not I. I speak too long, but 'tis appease the time to eke it and draw it out in length to stay you from election.
Let me choose, for as I am, I live upon the rack.
Upon the rack, Bassanio, then confess what treason there is mingled with your love.
None but that ugly treason of mistrust, which makes me fear the enjoying of my love. There may as well be amity and life 'tween snow and fire, as treason and my love.
Aye, but I fear you speak upon the rack, where men enforced do speak anything.
Oh, promise me life, and I'll confess the truth.
Well then, confess and live.
Confess and love had been the very sum of my confession. Oh, happy torment, when my torturer doth teach me answers for deliverance. But let me to my fortune and the caskets.
Away then. I am locked in one of them. If you do love me, you will find me out. Nerissa and the rest, stand all aloof. Let music sound while he doth make his choice. Then if he lose, he makes a swan-like end, fading in music, that the comparison may stand more proper. My eye shall be the stream and watery deathbed for him. He may win. And what is music then? Then music even is as flourish when the true subjects bow to a new crowned monarch. Such it is are those the dulcet sounds in break of day that creep into the dreaming bridegroom's ear and summon him to marriage. Now he goes with no less presence, but with much more love than young Alcides, when he did redeem the virgin tribute paid by howling Troy to the sea monster. I stand for sacrifice. The rest aloof are the Dardanian wives with bleared visages, come forth to view the issue of the exploit. Go, Hercules! Live thou, I live. With much, much dismay, I view the fight than that makes the fray.
So may the outward shows be least themselves. The world is still deceived with ornament. In law, what plea so tainted and corrupt, but being seasoned with a gracious voice, obscures the show of evil? In religion, what damned error but some sober brow will bless it and approve it with a text, hiding the grossness with fair ornament? There is no vice so simple but assumes some mark of virtue on his outward parts. How many cowards, whose hearts are all as false as stairs of sand, wear yet upon their chins the beards of Hercules and frowning Mars, who, inward searched, have livers white as milk, and these assume but valor's excrement to render them redoubted. Look on beauty, and you shall see 'tis purchased by the weight, which therein works a miracle in nature, making them lightest that wear most of it. So are those crisp, snaky, golden locks, which make such wanton gambols with the wind upon supposed fairness, often known to be the dowry of a second head, the skull that bred them in a sepulchre. Thus ornament is but the guiled shore to a most dangerous sea. The beauteous scarf veiling an Indian beauty, in a word, the seeming truth which cunning times put on to entrap the wisest. Therefore, thou gaudy gold, hard food for Midas, I will none of thee. No, none of thee, thou pale and common drudge tween man and man. But thou meagre lead, which rather threatenest than dost promise aught, thy paleness moves me more than eloquence. And here choose I, joy be the consequence.
How all the other passions fleet to air, as doubtful thoughts and rash embraced despair, and shuddering fear and green-eyed jealousy. O love, be moderate. Allay thy ecstasy, in measure rain thy joy. Scant this excess, I feel too much thy blessing. Make it less, for fear I surfeit.
What find I here? Fair Portia's counterfeit. What demigod hath come so near creation? Move these eyes, or whether riding on the balls of mine, seem they in motion. Here are severed lips, parted with sugar breath. So sweet a bar should sunder such sweet friends. Here in her hairs, the painter plays the spider, and hath woven a golden mesh to entrap the hearts of men faster than gnats in cobwebs. But her eyes, how could he see to do them? Having made one, methinks it should have power to steal both his and leave itself unfurnished. Yet look, how far the substance of my praise doth wrong this shadow in underprizing it. So far this shadow doth limp behind the substance. Here's the scroll, the continent and summary of my fortune. You that choose not by the view, chance as fair, and choose as true. Since this fortune falls to you, be content and seek no new. If you be well pleased with this, and hold your fortune for your bliss, turn you where your lady is, and claim her with a loving kiss. A gentle scroll. Fair lady, by your leave, I come by note to give and to receive. Like one of two contending in a prize, that thinks he hath done well in people's eyes, hearing applause and universal shout, giddy in spirit, still gazing in a doubt whether these pearls of praise be his or no. So, thrice fair lady, stand I, even so, as doubtful whether what I see be true, until confirmed, signed, ratified by you.
You see me, Lord Bassanio, where I stand, such as I am. Though for myself alone I would not be the ambitious in my wish to wish myself much better, yet for you I would be trebled 20 times myself, 1,000 times more fair, 10,000 times more rich, that only to stand high in your account I might in virtue, beauties, livings, friends exceed account. But the full sum of me is sum of something, which to term in gross is an unlessoned girl, unschooled, unpracticed. Happy in this, she is not yet so old, but she may learn. Happier than this, she is not bred so dull, but she can learn. Happiest of all is that her gentle spirit commits itself to yours to be directed as from her lord, her governor, her king. Myself and what is mine to you and yours is now converted. But now I was the lord of this fair mansion, master of my servants, queen or myself, and even now, but now, this house, these servants, and this same myself are yours, my lord. I give them with this ring, which when you part from, lose or give away, let it presage the ruin of your love and be my vantage to exclaim on you.
Madam, you have bereft me of all words. Only my blood speaks to you in my veins. And there is such confusion in my powers, as after some oration fairly spoke by a beloved prince, there doth appear among the buzzing pleased multitude, where every something being blent together turns to a wild of nothing save of joy, expressed and not expressed. But when this ring parts from this finger, then parts life from hence. Oh, then be bold to say Bassanio's dead. Scene.
Okay, very nice. Okay, so next we'll have see, Alex and John doing Orlando and Rosalind, and then the one. Let's go ahead and spin for Sheila and Elizabeth's scene first, so that they can be preparing while Alex and John are going. And actually, I realized, well, I was stupid. I'm not flipping a coin. We'll just stick with the same order that Elizabeth had the choice before Sheila, so she'll choose between the roles. So let's see, the scene for Elizabeth and Sheila will be I keep getting that shouldn't have been on there. This should be the 2-player scenes. We'll try again. Mary Rhymes of Windsor, Ford and Falstaff. Elizabeth, you want to be Ford or Falstaff?
Oh, I think I have to try Falstaff. I've
Okay.
never read that before. So
Sheila will be Ford, Elizabeth will be Falstaff. So you guys can be looking for that while we're doing the Orlando and Rosalind scene. Alex and John for that one. Okay, you two are ready to go with this one?
I am.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's right after Jacques exits.
Yeah, when Jake exits the end of the scene. Okay.
I will speak to him like a saucy lackey, and under that habit play the knave with him. Do you hear, Forester?
Very well. What would you?
I pray you, what is o'clock?
You should ask me what time of day. There's no clock in the forest.
Then there is no true lover in the forest, else sighing every minute and groaning every hour would detect the lazy foot of time as well as the clock.
And why not the swift foot of time? Had not that been as proper?
By no means, sir. Time travels in diverse paces with diverse persons. I'll tell you who time ambles withal, who time trots withal, and who time gallops withal, and he who stands still withal.
I prithee, who doth he trot withal?
Marry, he trots hard with a young maid between the contract of her marriage and the day it is solemnized. If the interim be but as night, time's pace is so hard that it seems the length of 7 years.
Who ambles time withal?
With a priest that lacks Latin and a rich man that hath not the gout. For the one sleeps easily because he cannot study, and the other lives merrily because he feels no pain. The one lacking the burden of lean and wasteful learning, the other knowing no burden of heavy, tedious penury, these time ambles withal.
Who doth he gallop withal?
With a thief to the gallows. But though he go as softly as foot can fall, he thinks himself too soon there.
Who stays it still withal?
With lawyers in the vacation, for they sleep between term, and then they perceive not how time moves.
Where dwell you, pretty youth?
With this shepherdess, my sister, here in the skirts of the forest, like fringe upon a petticoat.
Are you native of this place?
As the coney that you see dwell where she is kindled.
Your accent is something finer than you could purchase in so removed a dwelling.
I have been told so many. But indeed, an old religious uncle of mine taught me to speak, who was in his youth an inland man, one that knew courtship too well, for there he fell in love. I have heard him read many lectures against it, and I thank God I am not a woman to be touched with so many giddy offenses, as he has generally taxed their whole sex withal.
Can you remember any of the principal evils that he laid to the charge of women?
There were none principal. They were all like one another as halfpence are, every one fault seeming monstrous till his fellow fault come to match it.
I prithee recount some of them.
No, I will not cast away my physic, but on those that are sick. There is a man haunts the forest, that abuses our plants with carving Rosalind on their barks, hangs odes upon the hawthorns and elegies on brambles, all forsooth deifying the name of Rosalind. If I could meet that fancy monger, I would give him some good counsel, for he seems to have the quotidian of love upon him.
I am he that is so love shaked. I pray you, tell me your remedy.
There is none of my uncle's marks upon you. He taught me how to know a man in love, in which cage of rushes I am sure you are not prisoner.
What were his marks?
A lean cheek, which you have not. A blue eye and a sunken, which you have not. An unquestionable spirit, which you have not. A bearded neglected, which you have not. But I pardon you for that. For simply your having in beard is a younger brother's revenue. Then your hose should be ungartered, your bonnet unbanded, your sleeve unbuttoned, your shoe untied, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation. But you are no such man. You are rather point device in your accoutrements, as loving yourself than seeming the lover of any other.
Fair youth, I would I could make thee believe I love.
Me believe it. You may as soon make her that you love believe it, which I warrant she is apter to do than to confess she does. That is one of the points in which women still give the lie to their consciences. But in good sooth, are you he that hangs the verses on the trees wherein Rosalind is so admired?
I swear to thee, youth, by the white hand of Rosalind, I am he, that unfortunate he.
But are you so much in love as your rhymes speak?
Neither rhyme nor reason can express how much.
Love is merely a madness, and I tell you, deserves as well a dark house and a whip as madmen do. And the reason why they are not so punished and cured is that the lunacy is so ordinary that the whippers are in love too. Yet I profess curing it by counsel.
Did you ever cure any soul?
Yes, what? And in this manner. He was to imagine me his love, his mistress, and I set him every day to woo me, at which time would I, being but a moonish youth, grieve, be effeminate, changeable, longing and liking, proud, fantastical, apish, shallow, inconstant, full of tears, full of smiles. For every passion, something, and for no passion, truly anything. As boys and women are, for the most part, cattle of this color, would now like him, now loathe him, then entertain him, then forswear him, now weep for him, then spit at him. That I drave my suitor from his mad humor of love to a living humor of madness, which was to forswear the full stream of the world, and to live in a nook merely monastic. And thus I cured him. And this way will I take upon me to wash your liver as clean as a sound sheep's heart, that there shall not be one spot of love in it.
I would not be cured, youth.
I would cure you, if you would but call me Rosalind, and come every day to my court and woo me.
Now, by the faith of my love, I will. Tell me where it is.
Go with me to it, and I'll show it you. And by the way, you shall tell me where in the forest you live. Will you go?
With all my heart, good youth.
Nay, you must call me Rosalind. Come, sister, will you go?
Okay, very nice. So lastly, we have Sheila and Elizabeth doing Ford and Falstaff. Have you both found the scene?
Yes.
Yes.
Now, I know it starts when I enter, and at the end, Falstaff exits, and I don't need to do that long monologue. We can end it when Falstaff exits.
Okay. Can we start with such brooks are welcome to me that o'erflow such liquor? Is that a good place to start, Julia?
Okay.
Yes, that looks good.
Okay.
Okay, so whenever you're ready, go for it.
Okay. Such brooks are welcome to me that o'erflow such liquor. Ha 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 ha! Mistress Ford and Mistress Page, have I encompassed you? Go to, via.
Bless you, sir.
And you, sir, would you speak with me?
I make bold to press with so little preparation upon you.
You're welcome. What's your will? Give us leave, drawer.
Sir, I am a gentleman that have spent much, and my name is Brooke.
Good Master Brooke, I desire more acquaintance of you.
Good Master Sir John, I sue for yours, not to charge you, for I must let you understand I think myself in better plight for a lender than you are, the which hath something emboldened me to this unseasoned intrusion, for they say, if money go before, all ways do be open.
Money is a good soldier, sir, and will on.
Troth, and I have a bag of money here, troubles me, if you will help to bear it, Sir John, take all or half, for easing me of the carriage.
Sir, I know not how I may deserve to be your porter.
I will tell you, sir, if you will give me the hearing.
Speak, good Master Brooke. I shall be glad to be your servant.
Sir, I hear you are a scholar. I will be brief with you. You have been a man long known to me, though I had never so good means as desire to make myself acquainted with you. I shall discover a thing to you wherein I must very much lay open mine own imperfection. Good Sir John, as you have one eye upon my follies, as you hear them unfolded, turn another into the register of your own, that I may pass with a reproof the easier, sith you yourself know how easy it is to be such an offender.
Very well, sir. Proceed.
There is a gentlewoman in this town. Her husband's name is Ford.
Well, sir?
I have long loved her, and I protest to you, bestowed much on her, followed her with a doting observance, engrossed opportunities to meet her, feed every slight occasion that could but niggardly give me sight of her, not only bought many presents to give her, but have given largely to many to know what she would have given. Briefly, I have pursued her as love hath pursued me, which hath been on the wing of all occasions. But whatsoever I have merited, either in my mind or in my means made, I am sure I have received none, unless experience be a jewel that I have purchased at an infinite rate, and that hath taught me to say this: love like a shadow flies when substance pursues, pursuing that flies, and flying what pursues.
Have you received no promise of satisfaction at her hands?
Never.
Have you importuned her to such a purpose?
Never.
Of what quality was your love, then?
Oh, like a fair house built on another man's ground, so that I have lost my edifice by mistaking the place where I erected it.
To what purpose have you unfolded this to me?
When I have told you that, I have told you all. Some say that though she appears honest to me, yet in other places she enlargeth her mirth so far that there is shrewd construction made of her. Now, sir, Sir John, here is the heart of my purpose. You are a gentleman of excellent breeding, admirable discourse, of great admittance, authentic in your place and person, generally allowed for your many warlike, court-like, and learned preparations.
Oh, sir!
Oh, believe it, for you know it. There is money. Spend it. Spend it. Spend more. Spend all I have. Only give me so much of your time in exchange of it as to lay an amiable siege to the honesty of this Ford's wife. Use your art of wooing. Win her to consent to you. If any man may, you may as soon as any.
And would it apply well to the vehemency of your affection that I should win what you would enjoy? Methinks you prescribe to yourself very preposterously.
Oh, understand my drift. She dwells so securely on the excellency of her honor that the folly of my soul dares not present itself. She is too bright to be looked against. Now, could come to her with any detection in my hand, my desires have instance and argument to command themselves. I could drive her then from the ward of her purity, her reputation, her marriage vow, and 1,000 other of her defenses, which now are too strongly embattled against me. What say you to it, Sir John?
Master Brooke, I will first make bold with your money. Next, give me your hand. And last, as I am a gentleman, you shall, if you will, enjoy Ford's wife.
Oh, good sir.
I say you shall.
Oh, want no money, Sir John. You shall want none.
Want no Mistress Ford, Master Brooke. You shall want none. I shall be with her, I may tell you, by her own appointment, even as you came into me, her assistant or go-between parted from me. I say I shall be with her between 10 and 12, 10 and 11. For at that time, the jealous, rascally knave, her husband, will be forth. Come you to me at night. You shall know how I speed.
Oh, I am blessed with your acquaintance. Do you know Ford, sir?
Oh, hang him, poor cuckoldy knave. I know him not, yet I wrong him to call him poor. They say the jealous wittly knave hath masses of money, for the which his wife seems to me well favored. I will use her as the key of the cuckoldy rogue's coffer, and there's my harvest home.
I would you knew Ford, sir, that you might avoid him if you saw him.
Hang him, mechanical salt-butter rogue! I will stare him out of his wits. I will awe him with my cudgel. It shall hang like a meteor over the cuckold's horns. Master Brooke, thou shalt know I will predominate over the peasant, and thou shalt lie with his wife. Come to me soon at night. Ford's a knave, and I will aggravate his style. Thou, Master Brooke, shalt know him for knave and cuckold. Come to me soon at night.
Okay, great. You did. I also liked how you got how you decided, you would just be the two-person scene. There's a monologue, Falstaff exits there, and then Ford launches into it. What a damned Epicurean rascal is this? And that made me realize, that's good for the monologue wheel that we haven't done. So I went ahead and I'm gonna go ahead and add that to the monologue wheel for future use, and also about the scene we did first. I think when that comes out of retirement, goes back on the wheel, I'll do that as a 3-person scene, and probably heroes one line. You mean my niece means Signor Benedict. I'll just give that line to Leonato and say my niece instead of my cousin means Signor Benedict. So anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the final Wheel of Shakespeare challenge for 2021. I hope you enjoyed the whole first season. Gonna miss you guys for the next couple weeks for the holidays, but we will go again in 3 weeks with a new season. And as I said at the beginning, I'm taking suggestions. If you want any ideas of how to change the show for season 2, starting after the new year, let me know in the comments. Thank you for joining us today. Hope you will join us for the future season. And happy holidays, everybody. Bye now.